This series is based on India's finest workplaces, which showcases best practices adopted by various organizations to improve the work culture within their workplaces. The episode covers the company and features its work culture. This series targets to create awareness about their best work cultures, employee perks, and how a great work culture becomes essentially critical for their employee satisfaction, their stability and growth, etc. In today's episode, we have covered a company called Godfrey Phillips India, and this episode is not created for promotion of their products or services.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of India's Finest Workplaces. This week we visit one of the country's largest fast-moving consumer good companies, Godfrey Phillips India, and we'll discover firsthand what makes Godfrey Phillips one of India's finest places to work. One of India's largest FMCG companies, Godfrey Phillips, with its mantra of excellence and quality, has taken several steps to create a conducive environment to enable the growth of its employees. And now we bring you a 360-degree perspective on the Godfrey Phillips India work culture. You'll hear from everyone, from top management to today's millennials, and from executives to employees. Have a look.
GPI is a great place to work because you work as a team, as a family. There is never a pressure in terms of being present physically only. So long as you are doing your work, your deliverables are in place, you can manage your time on your own terms and conditions.
When I joined GPI and I was here as an intern for 4 months, that's when I realized that the culture or an ideal place to work is not dependent on the furniture at the workplace, but it totally depends a lot on the kind of people that work there, the culture, which are the heart and soul of any company.
Sir, if we were to speak to a Godfrey Phillips India employee, how do you believe that they would describe the work culture and the work atmosphere within the organization?
I think one of the conscious efforts that we've taken over the last couple of years is to actually empower each and every employee, to actually come out with suggestions, to actually say that, look, I can do this in my area, give me the empowerment, give me the freedom. I think, and the kind of transparency we have built up over the last couple of years. So it'll really be collaboration, transparency and empowerment which pervades across the organization.
Sir, in your view, what sort of work environment creates a conducive atmosphere for employees to succeed? One that's more competitive in nature or collaborative in spirit?
I think it has to be a mix of both, because collaboration can only take you up to a point, but it's the competitiveness between the individuals in the organization which makes them take a step higher.
Sure.
In fact, last year we introduced a concept of employees taking stretches. That, look, this is my target, but by doing X, I will exceed my target by a Y percentage. And that competitiveness has come in across the organization, especially in sales. And I think our results speak for it.
Well, sir, leadership or access to leadership in particular can be instrumental in shaping an employee's career graph. So how accessible is top management to employees within the organization? I mean, do you encourage an open door policy at Godfrey Phillips India?
Totally, absolutely. I think the entire leadership team is committed to be accessible. In fact, over the last couple of years, each of our executive committee members has gone to all the units, maybe 4 or 5 times a year, just to be able to speak to employees. And employees are encouraged to just walk into our offices anytime they feel like, with suggestions, with problems, with solutions, anything. So it's a totally open door policy.
And by way of closing comments, what's the way forward for Godfrey Phillips India? How do you intend to ensure it remains among India's finest places to work?
I think A is to carry on doing what we've been doing over the last couple of years. And starting this year, what we have implemented is a huge variable pay compensation structure. So till last year, it was a fixed salary, whatever you got increment. But this year, we actually split it into 4 components. So you'll get a fixed increment, you'll get a variable pay linked to your own performance, you'll get a variable pay linked to the company performance, and you'll get a variable pay linked to the stretch you've taken.
Sure.
So it's more focus on performance, performance, performance. So I think that's going to go a long way in changing the way we look at things.
I've seen that whenever I get stuck onto any of the use cases, whenever I get stuck onto, say, any market-related problem, I can always approach any senior within GPI and look out for certain solutions that they can help me with.
If you have an idea, if you can dream big, if you can think big, and if you can bring value to the organization, you can do wonders in GPI. You can achieve big in GPI.
Also, as an employee, I mean, we can invite senior leadership or even the CEO for our professional celebrations whenever we want to do so. Now that gives a sense of that you are getting valued. You're part of the organization. You're part of one GPI. That gives an immense sense of ownership in the organization.
Sir, given you're at the helm of employee welfare here at Godfrey Phillips India, how do you ensure that employees at all levels understand the company's mission, its vision, and work towards fulfilling it?
There are two parts to really having the company's vision, mission, strategy. One is the formation of it, and then there is the dissemination and adherence to it.
Sure.
Now, while the formation of the strategy is concerned, it is an inclusive process that we have, but it is obviously not a process where you have the whole organization getting together to decide the mission of the organization or the strategy of the organization.
Right.
So it's a largely inclusive process that we use for deciding the short-term as well as medium-term goals. I would say still about 30, 40 to 50 people really contribute to the formation of the short-term and the medium-term strategy is concerned. Now coming to the second part, which is the dissemination and then adherence to what you really put together. You got to communicate with people.
Sure.
We go across to the whole organization, and when we say go across to the whole organization, I'm not talking about go across through emails or video messages or anything. We physically go across to every single unit, get every single employee together into a room and discuss, debate and disseminate. Then all leadership decisions, all unit level decisions have to be in line with whatever strategies you formalized.
Well, I'd like to build on that, sir. And what are the specific HR policies in place here at Godfrey Phillips India that make the organization not just an employee-friendly one, but an employee-first organization?
What we have brought into place is a system which is on top of the performance management system, where we actually ask people to go out and take calculated risks without any impact on the performance management system of the organization.
Interesting.
So what happens is that while people know that this is what my job is, this is what I'm supposed to deliver on my job, but if I need to get the big bucks or if I have to get recognized in the organization, I need to go out and take risks. Sure. Now once they take those challenges, the one thing which we have not only communicated but ensured and proven to the people is that if you do take that risk and if you do go out and try and achieve something which is really big, and if you don't achieve that, it has absolutely no negative impact on you. That's something which has actually led to a massive shift in the culture of the organization, where people are actually getting out of their comfort zones and really putting in a whole lot of additional discretionary effort to deliver better results. For some of our star performers in the recent past, what we did was we organized an event, and calling in spouses as a part of the event isn't really all that great a thing. A lot of organizations do. But what we actually did was we videoed the spouses, and those videos were actually floated around the entire organization. So it was the spouses, the husbands and the wives of the employees who got recognition in the entire organization as somebody who had sort of supported the employee
Right.
in the process of delivering great results for the organization. So again, it's for the individual, again, it becomes like, look, I'm really important to the organization, and it's my wife or my husband whose video is being seen by 1,000 people across the organization. So that's another one.
So mentorship in GPI is totally different. They don't want you to be a yes person. They want to develop you into a leader rather than a good follower.
The senior management at Godfrey Phillips understands that success and being not so successful are two sides of the same coin. But if the goals are very ambitious enough, then even if you're not 100% successful, the success that you will be able to generate if you dream big will be good enough for the company to come together and celebrate.
It's time for a short break, but our special feature, India's Finest Workplaces, continues on the other side. So stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching India's Finest Workplaces, and I'm at the Godfrey Phillips India headquarters to discover how they do things differently when it comes to employee growth and employee welfare.
Despite being a very, very challenging industry, I think the work culture is something that really makes you feel very comfortable and eases out the environmental stresses in that sense. It's been a very interesting and rewarding journey personally, and I look forward to some more very interesting years ahead of me.
We talk a lot about diversity, and in GPI you can see it that when it comes to as it comes to life.
Heading sales for an organization of this size is no small feat. So what's your underlying approach to frontline employee empowerment?
Prior to this process, we had to have periodical reviews, getting the teams to align to what our objective and targets were.
Sure.
So that completely goes out of the window. Right. You don't need to do it anymore.
Right.
And that kind of releases the bandwidth for the senior management to focus on something which is more futuristic and strategic in nature. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, the ground teams themselves are so energized by this. It does a whole lot of good to their confidence. So we did this 4 years back, and about 2 years back, we adopted something which is called the Agile methodology. Now, Agile is a process where people look at a business problem or a business opportunity, form a cross-functional team, and set out to solve it. They come up with a solution which may not be a perfect solution, which we call a minimum viable product. So that's what they come up with, and then that's quickly piloted and rolled across the country. Now imagine a set of junior folks who have taken a real life problem, solved it quickly, and then it gets rolled across the country. It does a whole lot of good to their confidence. Now they're confident that they're able to plan their business themselves, and they're confident that they're able to solve problems that earlier only senior folks used to look at.
Right.
So that gives a lot of energy to the organization, to the front line. And to my mind, that energy is a big contributing factor that fuels the growth of this organization.
Sure. Well, I'd like to build on some of the points you've just made and ask, how actively are you leveraging technology when it comes to upskilling your employees such that the organization remains future ready?
So technology is a buzzword, right?
Sure is.
See, for me, adoption of technology is an imperative. Organizations need to do it. But the most important part is not to look at some fancy technology and say, a company ABC has adopted it, and therefore we should also do the same. I'm proud in saying today that our teams have, over the last 2-3 years, managed to come to a stage where they're able to look at a business problem, translate that quickly into a technology or an analytical problem, and then go about solving it.
Now, we've come to understand that there is a recognition program in place here at Godfrey Phillips India called Trailblazer, that is over and above all other employee recognition and employee reward programs. What's trailblazing about it?
So it's a reward and recognition program for salespeople. We started in, I think, 2014. So it's not a run-of-the-mill sales incentive plan. Most sales incentive plan incentivize people on meeting targets, be it monthly targets, quarterly, annual, whatever.
Right.
But where it's different is that we put kind of equal emphasis on the sales volume delivery as well as adopting certain behaviors, processes, technologies, and all of that.
There are numerous instances of we going out of way and helping people and their associates. For example, someone's personal driver in distress, has been offered help. Someone needing admission somewhere has been offered help. We have best-in-class medical policy, which is no questions asked, and which takes care of people and their associates and families as well. So these stories, actually go a long way in ensuring that, we have high retention rate. The average span here of an individual employee is around a decade. So 10 years is what the average span is.
We have annual programs planned out, charted out, where each employee is asked about what is that one area that they need to develop on, or they feel that there is a need for them to develop in that area. And once all of this is accumulated, a very good plan is made where all our people are taken through a 3-day learning and development program.
Sir, in your view, what sets Godfrey Phillips India apart from the competition with respect to best-in-class manufacturing?
So, Pooja, let me give you a little background of what had happened. So, some 30 years back, our organization was like a usual organization. Productivity was low, there were a lot of union strikes, a lot of unrest. We were always worried about how much the production would be there. And we had 3 factories to do something like 800 million with 2,500 employees. And then also it was a challenge. So then one fine day we decided that this cannot work. And we had to change the way we work. And we introduced working systems like Kaizen, Six Sigma, and all those kind of things into the manufacturing system. We empowered our people. We said that whatever we benefit, we'll share. So it is not the organization belonging to Mr. Modi, it is the organization that belongs to each and every one of us.
Right.
And the things have changed. If you look at the figures that we talk about, we have around 500 employees, and we easily do something like 2,000 million a month.
Phenomenal.
This is the kind of technology upgradation that has happened, the productivity that has happened. And mind you, those are some of the people who cannot even read or write. So they develop themselves and they run the best machines globally now. And everybody is ready to take the risk without fear of failure. And that is one thing that has really given us a lot of benefits.
Well, you touched upon some of the operational best practices, but how does employee enrichment factor into this whole equation?
So every employee has to take a minimum of 40 hours of training. And normally we exceed that because there is a lot of training which the trainers do themselves. So we have got a concept of train the trainers, where a senior employee will train the younger employee. So all the knowledge and wealth of wisdom that they have acquired over the years is passed on to the younger generation. And then there is a concept of Guru Shishya model. So anybody who is teaching, irrespective of the level, is a guru, and anybody who is learning is a shishya. So when I started my career in the company, the operator was my guru, and I had to respect him like a guru. So follow on all the guidelines that are given to us. So that way the knowledge has passed on. Plus we also give the best advanced training to all the people. So everybody, you will not believe that out of 300 workers, 200 people have traveled abroad for trainings and all.
Phenomenal.
So that's why our people are always the targets of the other company, because they are the best.
Well, do you believe that employees across all levels of the organization receive the necessary exposure such that they're able to keep pace with this ever-evolving business scenario?
I think each and every person get adequate chances to bring himself up, to learn new things and try out new things. In fact, we give MBA trainings, MBA course opportunities to all the employees. So in fact, working here, at least 20-30 people have done their MBAs or higher education. So give a lot of opportunities on personal front, on technical front, on global knowledge. So I think they are abreast with all the new technologies and knowledge.
A strong internal R&D practice can be a game changer for a company in that it truly encourages employees to think freely. So what do you consider to be some of the employee engagement initiatives at Godfrey Phillips India that you're most proud of?
Yes. So a lot of people don't spend that much money in R&D and innovation. But I think when we start the year, the thing that we try to do is that we'll try to do new things. We'll spend a lot of money on R&D and innovation and ask people to create a pipeline of the new thoughts, new ideas that they have. We never discourage any idea. This is the Kaizen system that we have at every level, that people are free to give ideas. they can implement the ideas without any restriction. So I think that has created a huge pipeline with us in terms of R&D and the people who develop the product. So if a person who looks at a product looks like a very simple product, but there is a lot of secrets behind it, a lot of work that goes behind it, and people keep on trying and come out with new ideas. So we have a very sophisticated IT system where we keep all the ideas and pick them up whenever it is required. So no idea is killed. So there is a strong R&D backup and innovation cell that develops it.
Well, employee empowerment fundamentally is about continuously upskilling the employee. Do you believe that if we were to speak to your team, your employees, they would describe the Godfrey Phillips environment as one that's very conducive for learning?
I think definitely. I think we talk about entrepreneurship in our organization. So everybody believes that GPI is their own company. If you look at this and go around in the plant, you will see that there are people who are working for generations. So they come and tell you that this is not your organization, this is our organization. I think that kind of self-belief is there. So they are not hesitant to try out new things and give their best to the organization.
So thank you so much for your time and for sharing your thoughts.
It's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Godfrey Phillips has got plenty of employee initiatives where they take care about the employees every aspect. So at Guldar factory, if I talk about, we also take care of the people in terms of their family, their requirement, their well-being, what they have to do later on also, because employee average age is very high here.
यह मेरा सपना था कि मैं एक ऐसी कंपनी के साथ अपना करियर स्टार्ट करूं जहां मेरे को वर्ल्ड क्लास टेक्नोलॉजी, लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ काम करने का मौका मिले। ये सपना मेरा जीपीआई में आकर पूरा हुआ।
लगभग जो मेरे साथी हैं उन्होंने मेरा साथ दिया। 2 साल तक आने के बाद मैं धीरे धीरे ठीक हो गया। ठीक होने के बाद उसके बाद मेरे को अपना ठीक हो गया। होने के बाद धीरे धीरे मेरे को कंपनी ने बहुत सपोर्ट करा। मेरे साथी थे उन्होंने सपोर्ट किया। अब मैं कोई भी कंपनी इस तरीके का नहीं लेती कंपनी बिल्कुल भी। मेरी ऐसी कंडीशन हो गई थी तो मेरे जो अफसर वगैरह सब ने मेरे को साथ दिया।
यहाँ पे एज एन सपोर्ट की बात करूँ तो सपोर्ट बहुत अच्छा है लोगों का। एज एन हमारे जो सीनियर्स हैं, मेरे जो बॉसेस हैं, जो ओवरऑल कंपनी की पॉलिसीज़ हैं, आपको कभी ऐसा फील नहीं होगा कि आप कहीं से अलग से आए हैं या अलग हैं या फीमेल हैं तो आपको अलग से ट्रीट किया जा रहा है। आपको एक part of family कह सकते हो आप।
Well, that brings our special feature, India's Finest Workplaces, to a close. I'm Pooja Jain, signing off from Godfrey Phillips India headquarters in Delhi. Thanks for watching.